Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars, to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC Pirates basketball and baseball and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia-Alabama sports live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
This is Office Hours of Real Life Athletic Directors. Here we are again at Coach Kegler's office. Just finished his film breakdown from his game this weekend. Football has started in the state of Georgia.
Hey, why is it 3 of us over here? Gladys not by it. That's me.
Well, Gladys want to be by himself.
Right.
I'm on a
You
computer.
already know.
Can't nobody sing like Eddie Kane.
I'm the producer today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the producer.
Okay.
Look, y'all. Hey, this is gonna be a good show today because
We got
I got some
special guests.
topics, man. I got some topics, and we got a special guest here, Mr. Trey Selden, Director of Athletics for Parks and Rec here in Columbus, Georgia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it started with my first question. And I've been knowing you for a long time, but just for the listening viewers and those that are watching now on YouTube and Facebook and everything, break down what your job entitles for the city and the things that are going on with Parks and Rec.
My job on paper is to be the manager of. Yeah, on paper is
We
to,
all do more
is-
than what's on paper.
is
What
to
you really
is
do.
to be a liaison between NCAA, youth leagues here in the city, and program adult and youth programming throughout the community. That's what the job description says. But it turns into putting out a lot of fires with adults, dealing with a lot of work orders, filling holes at the Heritage Bowl game on the field,
Make sure
just
that locker room clean.
getting the locker room together, all those kind of things. So it's
Field's in the best shape it's been in a long time.
good. We're
Was-
glad to hear.
Yeah.
And it had new lights.
Yeah.
All because of Parks and Rec.
Because of him.
All because of you. Thank you, sir.
I feel a little obligated.
A lot of people
when
should have
I
shaken
have,
your hand.
have my guys coming in. I feel it's a little
And he
more,
had a
little
fan
more
there for
personal.
us, too.
Right, right.
So
You had a fan?
Yeah.
Which one did you order?
Answer to me. Question.
So we're just talking about the Heritage Bowl that just took place Friday night between Carver and Spencer. Now, what goes on? You describe your job. Now, what do you do in anticipation of that event?
It's kind of like we start with a security meeting, obviously, and I think it went really, really well. I'd be interested to know how others felt, but I think for the most part it went really well this year. Security did a very, very good job. That was priority one. It's getting the field maintained. It's doing all the little things that it takes to get the facility ready. Finding out the needs of the press box. So I do a lot of communicating back and forth with Mr. Lindsay or whoever the home team is this year, like Carver was, to see exactly what he needs there. How does he want it set up? He wanted to make sure they were not hot. He told me that like 10 times. So we tried to freeze them
With
out
the
of there.
AC on 62.
It was like 60 degrees. They were good to go. But it's like a week-long process. We do walkthroughs with the coaches, security team, city manager, the deputy city manager, our Parks and Rec director, just to kind of walk it several times. I meet with Park Services, who actually maintains the fields and does all of the edging and the trimming, and we're pulling barricades from the Civic Center and chairs from other areas just to make sure everything's in place.
So
and ready
how
for
long
the
in
guy.
advance do you all start the planning for this?
Our initial security meeting with Mr. Battles was
This time last year, probably.
3.5 months ago.
Yeah.
Then we had a walkthrough. Then we had another meeting on July 31st, which I didn't have to attend because the whole thing with it moving to Connect,
Right.
which obviously came right back. Then we had a meeting there with you all last week.
Last Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
The coaches and admin.
Yep.
And so we do that we from that week we meet every 2 to 3 days.
Now, Keg, being the Heritage Bowl, I know you as a friend, but just for the people that are listening and watching, how are your preparations different with your team, as well as handling some of the social obligations or things of that nature that may come up with you and the admin here?
I think the biggest thing is just all the extra media that you have to do, interviews, news. Somebody always wants to talk to you about the game, but I mean, to them, try to get the point across that it's an important game because it's the next game.
Mhm.
And, we gotta focus on what we can control and do what we gotta do, play our game, and be ready to play come Friday.
Right. What how do you keep your players' composure? Or do you discuss those things, prior to, or
That's kind of stuff we talk about all week.
Yeah.
We just kind of hammer those things home every day. I started talking about it when they canceled our first game because of COVID for the other team, not for us. I just kind of that's just something I kind of start saying something about every day. Like, don't get involved in all the hype and the crowd, and we're there to do a job. It's kind of the same thing I do during homecoming.
right?
All the extracurricular stuff is for everybody who's not playing. So we got to focus on putting our product and putting our best foot forward on the field.
Staying focused.
Correct.
What are some things I want to bring this up because we got Mr. Selden here. I won't say his first name. I think I already said it, but keep it professional. Social media. The weeks building up from the change from Connect back to Memorial. I mean, it's a lot of back and forth, positive and negative. Parks and Rec, Muskogee County School District. Now with the teams and the players, do you monitor or do you talk to them about social media?
I just tell them it's not their place to say anything. At the end of the day, we're going to play where they tell us to play. If you put a football field in the middle of Victory Drive, we're going to line up and play. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, you give us 100 yards to play, and we're going to bleed green and gold on the field, and we're going to play as hard as we can play and be ready to go.
Yep. What about with on the Parks and Rec side? Do you read comments?
I can't lie and say I don't see them. But I guess I'm new enough in the role that I can always see both sides. I think sometimes when you're in a position for a long time, you get jaded to, well, we've always done it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Almost biased.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can see where, like, yeah, I agree with that. That right there should happen, or this right here does need to change. So I'm kind of in a stage where I'm looking for those kind of things to improve upon and see what we can change. Now, some of the stuff is, of course, is way off, and you don't really worry about those things, but you do look for ways to improve and see what you have control of and what you can change. I didn't think it would be gone from Memorial very long just because from an alumni standpoint, I knew the players would be fine regardless of where they played. But all of the fans and being able to tailgate and, have that tradition, I assumed it would come back.
I definitely tell you.
I believe that.
I was at the tailgate.
So you guys seeing the changes that y'all need to make or whatever. When do y'all start getting together to start making those changes, or is that something that y'all just kind of talk about and?
Is that your professional voice?
That's not professional.
I mean, you did. You sounded
You
educated.
sound
You
very
did.
professional.
You sounded better than earlier.
I didn't even realize
I'm
it was
very
you.
smart.
You sound like John Coffey, didn't you?
That seldom leave. That's a real question.
Yeah.
Let me get back to me. How about that?
We do
Yeah.
we do meet and talk about it. Like, there's a laundry list of items that need to be done, and it's a matter of SPLOST money coming in because it's a spend as you get it. So you got to let it build up before it actually can start being done. So there is a priority list of things: locker rooms, bathrooms, elevators on the press box, widening the field, because right now it's not to the dimensions that it needs to be for NCAA. We kind of got a special exception to get Tuskegee Morehouse and the Fountain City Classic, but we need that extra width for soccer and things like that to be able to come in and actually have them to the standard. The lights are TV standard now, but all those other things are on the list, and it's a matter of how fast the money comes in and what to tackle first.
So you all have a priority list as far as some other areas around the city as well?
Not in my department. Now Parks and Rec as a whole, because Park Services has different fields in different areas. I take that back. One area would be Cooper Creek. There'll be changes going on there. Outside of my department, you have areas like recreation who deal with playgrounds and splash pads and all those things going in different places. But that's outside of athletics, so I don't get a whole lot into their side.
So you spoke about Tuskegee Morehouse. You spoke about Fort Valley, the real classic, Fort Valley Albany State. What are there any other planned games there at Memorial?
Thomas versus Bethel will be September 14th.
We have Green Waves that'll be there on both sides, Thomas and Bethel. Shout
Okay.
out to my boys in school.
Yep, that's a noon game on September 14th. Tuskegee Morehouse, October 5th. And
My B-Day.
classic is okay.
All right. Thanks,
Man, finish talking.
I
Thanks
just
for
want to say
sharing.
that's my
What you
B-Day.
got?
I'm over here.
But you just,
Rep the lead.
October 5th.
What's wrong with that?
just cut him off.
I just wanted to say.
He got
Thanks
excited.
for-
That was
okay,
that was
thanks for
important.
sharing.
As soon as he said October 5th, it made me want to say that.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
And lastly, we end with the classic
Excuse me.
on November 9th. Outside of that, we'll do other things like GIAA softball championships are at South Commons. GHSA softball championships are at South Commons. SIAC softball championships will come back again for the next 2 years. They were here this year also.
So will you take the Heritage Bowl as a gauge for the next classic? Say, okay, this went well, this operation, this procedure, can this benefit the college games and those
Yes,
classics
when
as
we
well?
talk about the Heritage Bowl, it's a high school game, but we consider it a classic, just like the other two college games. And
The
we
real classic in the city.
so we say we
We're
have
gonna talk about that.
essentially
Not
3
the-
college games
Not the other
at Memorial, because that's not on the scale of a normal high school game.
Right. Maybe the Midtown Showdown will get there, but we'll address that later with
It's
you.
coming.
It's coming. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
the game is coming.
a classic soon.
Yeah, the game is coming.
Yes, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sheldon, how does your job differ from summertime to school year? Or is there a difference?
There is. We don't do a lot of programming during the summer just because kids are spread out on vacation. They're in AAU. They're doing spring ball. Like they're in a lot of different places. So we don't do a whole lot of programming during that time. We have Ultimate Frisbee going on during the summer. But once the school year gets back in, that's when all the sports kind of open back up. Softball, t-ball, baseball, soccer opens up. CYB, which is basketball, comes up during the winter. Adult softball goes on kind of year round. Tournaments go on year round. Tennis goes on year round.
We're about to go to another segment of the show, but you brought something up, so I do want to invite you to stay for this
Yeah, go
next
ahead.
segment. We're gonna talk about some rivals, because I have a story to tell.
Why are you rolling your
Because
eyes?
it's a big rival coming up.
Well,
And
not
what we
only
call
And
that.
then I want to ask
It's a
one more
big
question.
rival.
Oh, we got one more question. Okay.
I just want to know, what does your typical day look like?
It
Or do
varies
you
from
not have
season
typical
to
days?
season. Yeah, it's hard to have a typical day. Like this past week, I was at Memorial probably from 8 in the morning to 8 at night every day. We did the light test the day before the game, so you leave there at 10:30. But when we get past like Monday, it'll slow down a lot. But then it'll start turning into we need to start getting flyers out to school for CYB. It's just you start rolling to the next thing, the next Tuskegee Morehouse meeting. So it's meetings and running around a lot. That's what a typical day is. So not real typical.
So what we go through. I just
I
know
don't,
what time
have,
to
I don't have to
report.
deal with transportation or eligibility, but the rest of it, budgeted and capital expenditures, and we deal with a lot of that.
Gotcha. Well, look, like I said, we're gonna take a quick break, pay some bills, as they say, and we're gonna come back with our segment on rivals.
We got commercials now.
Hey,
Yeah.
On to the
what we gotta
commercial.
do? BRB.
BRB.
Now at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, the full-size GMC Sierra 4x4 crew cabs discounted up to a giant $15,000 off. GMC Canyons with plenty of power and excellent towing ability, up to $5,000 off. And the roomy and enjoyable compact SUV, the popular GMC Terrains, up to $6,750 off.
Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way to Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Georgia, Alabama. Sports Live will be your go-to for all your favorite high school and collegiate games this fall. From the Carver Tigers to the Columbus Blue Devils, the Harris County Tigers and Northside Patriots, the Glenwood Gators and Calvary Christian Knights, the Pacelli Vikings and Brookstone Cougars to the Smith Station Panthers and Russell County Warriors, from CVCC, Pirates basketball and baseball and every tournament from here to Macon. We are the #1 destination for anything happening in East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Be sure to like and follow us on YouTube and Facebook, and stay tuned for even more amazing ways we will be bringing Georgia, Alabama Sports Live to you this upcoming season. We can't wait to come see you next.
Back from paying some bills, right?
We got commercials.
We got commercials now.
What can we say?
We got a jingle. I got to get the jingle in.
Yeah, we got to
We
get
got a
that
jingle.
playing.
We got to shout out to Diamond Upshaw. Made a jingle for
I say you
office
gotta
hours.
remember my name, like you were struggling to remember it.
Oh no. I got it.
Where we at on Instagram?
Officehours.ad. I don't. I'm
you
good.
bet.
He said, "This is what I do."
I'm good. I'm good. I got first period planning for a reason. Social media hour. So, I got to tell you all this story, then you're welcome to chime in anytime. Coach Selden stand around, so anything you want to say. So yesterday morning, I went to the school. I started cleaning up, doing some stuff. So I picked out a T-shirt that I didn't mind getting dirty, right? That T-shirt happened to be an Alabama T-shirt.
You wore it?
And you have what?
You all know I went to Auburn.
I'm surprised you got an Alabama t-shirt.
Right.
I have an Alabama T-shirt because for years now I buy T-shirts for teams that make it to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament.
You do
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I do.
And
Okay.
Alabama men made it. One of my coaches on my staff is an Alabama graduate. So when they made it to the Final Four that night, I ordered an Alabama T-shirt.
I'm still surprised you did it, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard to
but-
wear. It's hard to wear. I wore the shirt yesterday because I said, I don't care if it gets wet. Dirty. Don't care if it gets dirty. See how we got this teamwork going on here. I go out to eat lunch, to buy lunch, and someone says, "Roll Tide."
It made you sick.
I was stumped.
Because you
You
supposed
ain't
to
know
say
what
something
he-
back.
It's supposed to respond.
But in their defense,
He had
They're
the shirt
looking
on.
at my shirt. And I said to the gentleman, "Roll Tide."
I never would do
Why?
And I rushed to the bathroom because I felt nauseated.
Sick.
Ain't no way.
So, 3 minutes later, as I leave that restaurant, someone else says to me,
that.
"Roll
You
Tide."
didn't say War Eagle.
I want to take that shirt off and just throw it down.
Where were you at?
But the way my body worked, I couldn't take the shirt off.
Where were you at?
I was at Nukes for lunch.
Oh, you had one of your free coupons.
So, no, listen to this.
Wow.
So it made me think about rivals because if I'm wearing my Auburn gear, if someone says War Eagle, if I see someone with an Auburn hat, it rolls off. But this threw me off yesterday, so I just thought about rivals. Of course, we had the Heritage Bowl, and we all have high school rivals. But
Let's see. Does your college have a rival?
Clark Atlanta.
He said that quick because he thought about it
Hey,
while you
don't-
was out.
don't
you
block
was
this
gone.
television screen.
Thank you.
He had to think about it though.
And what we're not going to do is go back to that. We've been getting along
I'm
good. I
asking
sent
the
you a
question.
real nice
You
text
did,
message
and I appreciate it.
before the game
I appreciate it.
to tell you I'll support you.
I appreciate it.
So we ain't going to do that.
I was asking a legitimate
2 or
question.
3 weeks, then we'll go back to that.
It was a
Okay.
legitimate question.
What we do, Clark.
I didn't know.
Morris Brown Clark. That's a big rival.
I mean,
So let's talk rivals. Let's talk collegiate rivals. Okay? And you played collegiate football
we had two,
in state. Okay.
Albany State and Tuskegee,
Have you ever worn an Albany State or Tuskegee shirt?
and we'll never wear one.
Because the blood inside
It
you
just
says.
makes my skin peel.
Did y'all beat them?
Yes. We beat Tuskegee in Tuskegee.
So when I wore my Tuskegee sweatshirt, you were upset? Were you offended by
I
that?
mean, it's you.
Okay.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes.
I was born in Tuskegee. My mother went to Tuskegee.
So,
And
and,
I went
and the
to
crazy part about it, you know, Tuskegee's field sits down in the valley.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the visitors dress in the gym, the old
Up
gym,
top,
up
Logan
top.
Hall.
And as you're walking down, they throw nickels and pennies at you. So they're like, hey man, put your helmet on. I'm like,
It's
put your
hot.
helmet on for what? Like it's 98 degrees outside. Once you see them guys start going over your head, oh, okay, I see why. And then of course, Fountain City Classic is Fort Valley, Albany State. So I would say those are our two biggest rivals.
Right.
And then somewhat Savannah State. Because my first 3 years, we played them on their homecoming there. They played us on our homecoming at home. So it was those were kind of our biggest three rivals in school.
Wow. Coach Hunley?
Clark. That's it.
Will you
Y'all
more
still
Clark
play
truck?
this? Do y'all still play
Come
that?
on, come on.
Oh, don't get him started.
I was
Let's
waiting on
cut.
that. I knew that was coming.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
Oh, let's
So
cut.
basically, what you were asking is what happened during that.
So when I was playing and we had a team, we don't have a team now,
Yeah.
Do y'all still
but
do
it's coming
homecoming?
back.
You don't have
We
one
do
yet.
have homecoming in October. I'll be there.
So exactly what do y'all? That's not.
Go ahead,
So
go
it's
ahead, go
like a
ahead. Ask your
tailgate.
question.
So y'all just have a big tailgate.
That's
Like
what
y'all
we
can't.
have.
It's not going to a game.
That's what we have.
Do they have
All day.
homecoming during basketball season?
Just football.
Okay, okay.
Just during
It's an
football
all-day
season.
tailgate.
No, the only reason I brought that up,
You can't have it during football.
But we just don't have a game.
Oh,
But we do
it's
tailgate.
during football
And
season.
we
you
have a
have-
good time.
how do you have homecoming with
But-
no game?
But here's the thing.
Yeah, the math.
So do y'all just have a party Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
Yeah.
Because it ain't like you gotta get focused for nothing.
Not for a game.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So we all right.
Coach, do y'all?
No. Finish with me.
So we just move
Let's
on.
finish up. Let's not move on. Let's finish up.
I'm just asking for clarification. Cause like when we have homecoming, it's
Well,
like
y'all been on the brink of closing
no
down
sir,
for
no
years.
sir, we have not. No sir, we have not.
Definitely.
No sir. Hey, regardless of what we've been, we have not.
Closed
Can
down.
you say the same thing?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't. I ain't gonna make that argument.
Okay.
But you've been close.
Hey, that's a rumor.
No, that ain't no rumor.
Hey, I can look it up and say yes.
No, it's done.
Yeah,
But it's
been
coming
done.
back.
What?
We got EA Sports.
Oh my goodness.
So, Coach McCoy, who's your rival?
EKU, our rival was Western.
Both of y'all still playing.
Yeah,
Y'all play
both.
the game?
But guess
Yes,
what?
we do.
Morris Brown beat Albany on their homecoming when I was playing tight end.
Can we talk about something from?
I'm
this
just
century?
saying, well, that wasn't that long ago.
When was it?
2000.
Coach Selden, you have to excuse us, man. This is what we do now. This is
We're-
this is a live broadcast, man. This is what we do.
That's almost a quarter century. What are we talking
He
about
said,
here?
but it's still in this.
But we beat
century.
them though. We beat them.
That's important. That's important information. That's in the
We-
history
I'm
books.
proud of you, and you were on the field.
I was on the field.
I'm so proud
Coach,
of you.
who y'all? Well, do y'all have any other rivals? I know y'all biggest rival.
Well, let's go. Let's go to McCoy.
Oh yeah, ours is at Western.
She said they have a
but-
game.
Yeah,
So we
but
play
I would say
game
Louisville and Kentucky is like the biggest one that, like,
in the state.
you talking about not wearing no Tuskegee stuff. Like, I am not wearing anything UK. It won't happen.
What?
Not happening. When
Yeah.
I was doing athletic training, one of my placements was actually at UK, and I was thoroughly upset because I knew I would have to wear EKU
Where's
stuff.
my
Right.
water?
And so the lady gave me my polos that I'd have to wear, and I said, "So what happens if I don't wear this?"
Right.
And she was like, "Your grade will get docked."
So I bet you wore it in, didn't you?
I did, but I wore another shirt, and then when I got there, I changed, and when I was done, I
As soon
changed
as you
back.
finished.
Yeah,
So y'all still play your rival? Y'all have
we
a game?
do. We do. Yes, every
We play
year.
ours. We have a game.
Football, basketball,
Y'all have a game.
We have a game.
and a homecoming.
Y'all have a game at your homecoming?
So we're gonna keep on.
I mean, because that's usually how
So we
homecomings
gonna
work.
keep on. Let me call one of my teammates.
Coach Selden, any big rivals?
Let me Google homecoming.
Well, I'm an Albany State guy, so of course.
What you
it's-
looking for?
There you
Your
go.
mom?
Call one of my
There it
teammates.
is.
But y'all pretty big rival with Tuskegee too, right?
Yeah, we were.
Like that little triangle is like a big,
Right.
like those three games, you're always gonna have good crowds.
What was played yesterday at Georgia State?
The
the kickoff.
HBCU Classic.
Was it
Norfolk
SWAC versus
State.
North,
MEAC and SWAC.
MEAC and SWAC? Yeah.
Norfolk State and FAMU.
FAMU.
Now that was shocking to me because I didn't know they were playing at Georgia State. Have they been hosting games recent years or?
They're opening up. I say this: Coach McGee and the administration at Georgia State is doing a great job of building notoriety. At Georgia
Gotcha.
State.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
In his words, paint the city blue or something like to that nature.
Right.
They play Georgia Tech this week. So.
I'll be there. Shout out to my godson, DJ. I'm coming to see you.
Could you just stop cutting everyone off?
Well, that wasn't even a cutoff.
It doesn't-
I did
It was
not
in the middle
cut
of
you
things.
A
off.
lot
What
of
else you
shout
gonna
outs
say?
today.
Georgia
What else
Tech
you
is
got
playing Georgia
anything?
State
Yes.
next week.
Midtown versus
I want
downtown.
to shout out DJ.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
my godson.
What
Dale
Are you
McGee's
going?
first game as the head coach.
what time is that game?
7
I
or
think
8
7 or 8. Yeah, it's
7 or
Saturday
8.
night.
At Georgia State,
No, it's at Georgia Tech.
at Georgia Tech,
right across the street.
right across the street.
It's maybe
I
5,
might
6
go.
miles away.
Auburn plays New Mexico State, I think.
I'll be there.
I would say they might play Grant. I mean, they might play Morris. Probably not.
But you know the thing is, how many college games do you go to during your?
None.
Because you're too busy or what?
I take that back. I go to Fort Valley, Albany State.
Yeah.
I won't. Like Saturday is a really big kind of film prep day for me.
Right.
So I kind of watch the film of the game we played, and start to watch the
For
film
the next one.
For the
of
next
the
game.
next week,
Yeah.
and it just kind of always works out. But I must do a better job of kind of getting out.
Right. How many? You go to a lot of college games,
Not a lot.
but you're going to Georgia Tech this weekend.
I'm going.
I might go to that
We
game.
might ride with you,
That's fine. You can ride with
He'll
me.
need a DD.
No, what is that?
sir. You can't use the phone.
He's on the phone.
I'm using my phone.
Sir,
He
we're
calling
in the middle
DJ
of-
to get
This
tickets.
Morris Brown, and we ain't supposed to cuss on because we got the TV now. But this Morris Brown
Sir,
shit is getting too far.
Sir, you
It's going too far. I know we ain't supposed to. But
That's why it's real. That's why it's
We'll get
real.
it taken off the air. Can we bleep that out? Appreciate it.
But let the S, at least let the S come out. Before.
I know you weren't raised like that.
No, but I was ready to take up for me.
I might go to that game. I'll see if
Oh my goodness.
my wife is feeling healthy. We might get on the road and go to a college game.
Yeah.
I want,
Go
people be
Mills
sold
rolled me
out.
to Atlanta to the play. We were just fine.
That's right.
We were just fine.
We're good. We're
Nobody
good.
said you couldn't drive. I just said your school didn't have football.
Yeah, I think with Auburn, I think in the SEC
Adrian.
everything's just a big game.
We got a call in.
We got to call in. Adrian,
Hey, you can't.
Oh, we got to call in.
Adrian, I'm on my podcast. I'm on my podcast right now.
This is so unprofessional.
It may be unprofessional, but I got an Albany guy sitting here talking
You talking about
He'll
Mr.
Fort
Talking-
Valley guy.
talking stuff. I'm talking about Joseph Keckler,
I'm
the
not
head
nothing about
coach
me,
at
Albany.
Spencer.
Ain't nothing about me.
And he
Albany.
talked, and I'm Fort Valley. I'm sorry,
Fort Valley.
Fort Valley. I'm sorry, Fort Valley. My fault. I'm sorry, Fort Valley. Adrian, you live now. You live.
Hey, you can't
you
cuss on
live
here.
right now. You live right now.
can't
But
cuss,
all I
Adrian.
want to say is this man here is talking bad about Morris Brown, saying we ain't got no football team.
That's
We
a
don't
fact.
have no. We don't have no. It's just the way he said it though.
Condescending.
Very condescending.
I know what that word means.
But-
I literally
What did
asked
you ask?
when y'all have homecoming, who do y'all play? See, you don't know either.
Adrian, you gotta say something now. Shit. if you don't say nothing, you gon'
You should have prepped.
all
him
this
before you
gonna look
called.
bad. Now. I know I hit you on the spot,
You
but you
should
got
have texted him.
we don't play.
He on the other line right now.
Because he coached with Morehouse, because we do big stuff.
See, he had to go to Morehouse. He can't coach at Morris Brown.
Oh Lord, mercy. He ain't stop, Adrian. That's what I tried to say too.
When, back on the map when? When can we expect this back on the map?
So what we got?
Hey,
2
so-
years.
Oh, I'll take that.
We got EA Sports.
All right, Adrian,
Hospitality.
hey, a hospitality degree.
Yeah.
All right, Adrian, we'll
You
holler
can
at
work
you.
at
Appreciate
you can work at the
We appreciate it, Adrian. Hey,
You can work at the Marriott.
Hey, we about to go on commercial break, Adrian. We appreciate you being on live with us.
Man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all caught me at a bad time. I was in the middle of something. Hey, call me back in a few. We can really get down to it.
Thank you for responding.
Later.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
But
He had the right comment. My fault. I called somebody else.
You should have.
this is a good indication of
reached
how
out
heated
first.
rivals get.
I think we got to pay some more bills.
Not yet. Is it bill time? Because we got commercials.
We got commercials.
Yeah, we
We
got
definitely do.
accreditation too.
We all got accreditation. Now, we may not all have football teams, but we all accredited. Now, that's for sure. We all accredited.
So I do
Hey,
have a question though. Like,
They
is
got
this real?
hospitality degree too.
But is that
Okay.
the only degree y'all have?
Sounds like it.
No, it's
It's
like six. It's
hospitality?
like six. It's like
So,
six. I don't know what
so
six
y'all a
is.
whole university with 6 degrees.
For now.
Are they associate
For now,
degrees?
for
or
now.
bachelor's?
No, diplomas.
No, they bachelor degrees.
High school.
Okay.
We coming back.
GED.
We
Now,
are.
see, I didn't say that now.
We're
Now, had
hold
I
on,
said it, you
hold
were
on,
mad at
hold
me.
on. We're the HBCU
No, you're
that
not.
got
No,
that got caught up
you're HBC.
in our mess.
You're not a U right now.
We got caught up in our mess
You're not a U right now.
because they all got mess now. True or false? Now that's real.
At Fort Valley, we don't have miss.
I
That's
ain't
gonna be
care.
that's gonna be a
I just
long
made the sound. I ain't say
Nah,
it.
yeah, you did.
I didn't say it.
We heard it.
Look at.
No,
Hey,
I didn't say the T.
It ended
you
with
sound
a
like
D.
kids. You sound like kids now. That's come on.
We're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna pick back up.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs, discounted up to $13,750 off. Chevy Equinox with discounts up to $6,000 off. And listen to this, 2024 Chevy Blazer EV, as low as $295 a month. Brand new Chevy Blazer EV, 24 months lease, just $295 a month.
Get ready to smile.
We're back. Hey man,
What was that? That was weird.
That was you know how they count it down?
But they
And
do.
then they
It's
get
like-
quiet on
it's
the
not
last
like
few
this,
and they do like this.
No, they
They
don't.
do like that. How they do it?
Hey,
They point one way or another.
no,
Like,
it's like you trying to dig up my
I
nose.
thought you
or
was gonna
something.
pick his nose.
Yeah, like what is wrong with you, man?
Oh my.
You are strange.
You've had a rough day, man. Coach Mills.
You do
All
like
right,
that.
do it like this.
We back.
You back.
Jeez.
Yes, sir, Coach Kegler.
Oh God.
Let me move.
So we're talking about discipline.
That's not what we're talking about.
We're about to.
Well, that's not what you said. Though. Go ahead,
So
Coach Mills.
discipline is the topic on the table.
Yeah, we finished with rivals, and just to share with everyone things that they don't know that athletic directors have to deal with. So this is a serious segment that we can joke around with,
I can be serious.
but I don't think everyone knows that we all have athletic code of conduct. You have a student code of conduct. But now I think we all want to hold our athletes to a higher standard
Absolutely.
because they are the leaders in the school. You would.
I
You
agree.
would hope that. Okay. So what happened this week at Hardaway, no names will be mentioned, but we had altercations with athletes, physical altercations. Now administration is going to handle their side. Of course, kids are going to get 10 days out of school suspension, have to come back to a conference. What do they call those?
Parent
Second
conference,
chance
where
work.
parents
Second
come back
chance
in.
work.
Second chance work.
So they'll do that. And that could reduce the suspension, I think, if they have it early.
Right.
Or if it can't be resolved, they'll serve their full 10. But now on the athletic side, as their athletes, do you step in as the AD and say, this is what we're going to do? Or do you and the coaches collaborate on their suspensions, their discipline? Same thing could happen at Parks and Rec. If there's something happen with teenagers, do you suspend them from the center for so many days? What do you do to make them come back? But I just wanted you all to share some of your thoughts on what you do at your schools that you represent.
Well, I try to head some of that stuff off. So when I find out about it, I call our principal. And she's normally the first call. I'm like, hey, this is what happened. These are my thoughts. What do you think? Because at the end of the day, she's gonna make the final call.
Right.
And I respect that. So, but I also never want her to be hit with a situation where she's walking into something and didn't know was coming.
Right.
Coming in
Yeah.
blind.
Right. So I always try to keep her aware of anything that happens ahead of time, and then just kind of see what she thinks, and it's her decision, but she'll ask like what I think about it, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay. What do y'all do?
Well, I also had a question. So what do we do?
He asked the question. You can't answer a question with a question.
Well, I'm not answering the question with a question. I was telling him I kind of have a question. But it's a serious segment, so don't make me go to the other side. I'm trying to stay on the right side, but you.
What's your question?
Thank you. So you had fights.
Right.
Those kids are going to be punished, and it's not saying anything about football or anything, but you take football, and it could be a fight every day. Out there on the field, somebody get hit hard, and you got swinging. You got somebody swinging a helmet. So where's the difference in that?
Right.
To me?
Good
You know what
question.
I'm saying?
Good
Because
question.
That didn't happen at Spencer.
No, I'm not saying it's
So
a
you're saying
Spencer
in
thing.
general?
No, I
You
just wanted
played
you to know.
football, I
Right.
played football. You know what I'm saying? We all played sports.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is, on the practice field, football is intense. You get hit hard, you get embarrassed on the football field. Next thing you know, you got to fight. Coaches are breaking it up. I don't think that ever gets reported. I'm just saying, me personally,
Right.
I don't coach football, but I don't think that ever gets reported. That's something that's just handled right there on the field that day. You know, they gonna run, bear crawl, roll across the field, whatever the coaches do to punish those 2 players, 3 players, whatever. So I'm just asking, what's the difference?
My opinion is football is a collision sport. So you have to make contact. Contact is expected to be made. Now, does it go over the top at times? Yes. But I would say 9.5 times out of 10, once you have whatever altercation, you break it up and you go run and roll, it's over.
Yeah, it's over with. It's
So,
over
right.
with.
If it doesn't spill any further, I think that's kind of, it's because you're going to hit somebody, or you're hoping to hit somebody every
And
play.
there's a
Right.
level of aggression that's
Correct.
associated with football as well that, you know, you're going to expect some, you kind of want to see a little bit
Correct.
of
And
fire.
not-
in the
Right. I'm
game.
not
Yeah,
going against
exactly.
that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going against
Not
that.
to
I'm
mention-
not going against that.
You can't hurt nobody, and I tell my
Yeah.
kids all the time, you want to be hard. What you punching somebody in the helmet gonna do?
Right.
You gonna break your
No
own
doubt.
hand.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah,
Right.
you won that one.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, and I use this even because we coach basketball. I mean, it's a physical sport with no equipment. And my answer to your question or that scenario will be, in the spirit of competition, there should be moments where you feel like you got to defend
On the
yourself.
edge.
Right. You know, when I came to Hardaway from Central, and there were no fights at all at football practice, my first weeks or 2, I said, man, this team's soft.
Right.
Because I was used to seeing, if the one's going against the ones, it's going to be a push after
Yeah.
the whistle blows.
Yeah.
So when I didn't see that, I was like, man, this is
Different.
what's going on, you know, or even when guys weren't cramping at the end of practice,
Right.
you know, I was like, man, why aren't we running more? You know, just
Right.
why aren't we doing these things? So I just left.
Seeing that.
I say you was on
Central
the other end
Phoenix
of the
did it.
spectrum.
Right, you know. But even in basketball, when my players are yapping at each other in practice or whatever, bumping chests or whatever, I'm like, okay, that's good. I hope you're disappointed or upset enough to play harder. You know, so you can tone it down, or, you know, you can handle that, like I said, but in practice.
Right.
And I'm not gonna call Mr. McNeil and say, hey, this is what happened in practice today.
Right.
Johnny and Terry got into it. You know.
As long as it doesn't spill to the locker room.
Right, right.
To me, because if it gets to the locker room, it's no more. It's not about competition anymore.
It's, you know what, and it's funny you say that, because this situation we had at Hardaway, almost like being a lawyer. These were premeditated.
Correct.
It wasn't in the spirit of competing.
Right.
These were after the
It was
games.
personal.
It was, yeah, like, so you decided to do this,
Right.
you
At
know,
this time.
at this time,
Right.
or you could have waited till tomorrow and been on the field
Right.
and just, hey, coach, I'm gonna go one-on-one right now. Put the board out, you know, football. Put the board out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
Give me 5 opportunities to whoop his butt across that
Right.
line, you know. But yeah, it's just it's that real it's a unique situation because
It's a delicate,
I
it's
was
a
gonna say
fine
it's a
line.
fine line.
yeah, and now that we bring it up, see, the parents, believe it or not, look for us for guidance.
Yeah.
True.
So you got parents out there. Some parents don't want to make that call.
Right.
They don't want to pull their kid off the field, even for academic reasons. So some parents, a lot of parents out there, look for us to discipline their child. And I'll ask the parents several times, what do you want out of this?
Right.
You know, because this is what I'm going to lay out. Now, if he or she is happy with it, we can move on. But what do you want? If you disagree with my punishment, what is your punishment?
Right.
You know, but since we got you here, director of athletics, what happens at Parks and Rec? I'm sure there are situations where you have to discipline
Yeah,
those that are coming in.
I deal more with adults, but sometimes it'll spill from kids. I guess
adults that are big kids.
Yeah.
Because adults get the fighting.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So we deal with a lot of situations. We use football, for example. We're in the South. Little League football is a big thing. Without using specific organizations, the parents can get a little heated sometimes.
And coaches.
So that's the only time where we try to step in to decide where the discipline needs to go, who needs to be suspended, because the coaches are certified, so they come through us. So that's when we step in and decide and decipher who's at fault, who we need to pull, who has to be suspended for a certain amount of games. We don't run into it a lot with the kids, because kind of like in a athletic director's role, you want your coach to be able to discipline their players how they see fit, but you also don't want it to reflect, if the coach is not doing their job, it starts reflecting on the whole brand.
Right.
If they don't do it in an appropriate way, it starts being a bad look, and they'll say, such and such team, they're ghetto over there, or there's a lot of fights over there, or we don't want to play for this organization, which ends up hurting the whole organization when really it just may be one coach. So then you have to step in so that it's better for the greater good.
Have you ever had to remove a coach?
On a few rare occasions, maybe twice, and then when it's internal, it's a little different. Using basketball, a few years ago, we looked at possibly not allowing our coaches, that our employees, I would say, they work for the city to coach Columbus Youth basketball, because they get heated on that sideline, and it's like they almost forget
Who they represent.
You still have a logo on.
Right.
And these are 11 and 12-year-olds, and it's at the end of the day, it's a basketball game. I want to win just like everybody else wants to win, but they have a higher expectation because they're not just a volunteer coach; they're also an employee. So we thought about saying, hey, employees cannot coach, but then you can't run your program the way you need to because you don't have all of the volunteers.
Right. It's qualified volunteers.
Right.
Everyone wants to coach.
Right.
Everybody can coach.
And you've been on our side, so you know that there
Everybody
are.
understands no more than you do.
We get evaluated every game, every track meet. You the worst. I rarely hear about compliments.
You're the worst.
I rarely get
You're the
compliments.
worst.
Right.
That's right. And when you're winning too.
If the
Right.
kid doesn't play, if the kid doesn't play
It's always
enough,
the best 10 or
it's the coach's fault.
best 10 and 1, the best 4 in their
Yeah.
child.
Exactly.
No doubt.
But I know that this being the beginning of the year, I mean, there's tough situations because you're not trying to hurt the kid,
Right.
but you got to send a message to the others that this is not.
You're not going to
acceptable.
deal
We're
with
not
it.
gonna
Right.
do this.
So when, as an athletic director, because we all let the coaches handle their programs. So when, as an AD, do you step in and say, you know what, enough is enough? This kid not gonna play. Like, does that happen?
I
And
think if
personally, for me, I've never.
I think if it's
done that, but-
a consistent thing. 'Cause I'm never. You can never. To me, and I shouldn't say never. It's hard to penalize a child severely for one mistake
Yeah.
Right.
I
or
agree.
one blow up. But if it's
Like, I
something-
personally know, me and you talking, and I personally know your principal, your last principal, stepped in and said this kid ain't gonna play sports. As the principal stepped in and said that. But even before the principal comes in, because that means it's just
It don't went
like-
up the ladder. It don't
like,
went all the way
do
up the
we-
ladder.
Like,
This
do
is
we
your
step
behavior.
in? Do we step in and say, you know what, coach, he or she just
I feel
their
that
time plan is over.
I feel that when a student athlete has disrespected the program, as an AD, I'll make a call.
And I
Have
tell
you ever had to do that?
It has to be a chronic,
correct.
it has to be something that's happened more than once. But if they've been suspended or punished freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, going into that senior year, I might be like, no,
Right.
it's too much of a headache. And I'll say that to the coach. Why do you want to deal with this
Right.
if he or she has said you're a bad coach 3 years in a row?
Right.
Why do
Why
you want
keep
him back?
coming back? That'd be my question.
Well,
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's definitely-
I always
Right.
tell my
Like, just leave.
I always
Right.
tell my kids too, don't embarrass the name on the front of your jersey.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the conversation I had at cross country practice last
Mhm.
week.
And it's not even about winning and losing. It's about, and our principal says it all the time. We're not going to have a South Side mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest fear is for us to go somewhere and us to be stereotyped because we're on the South Side.
Right.
That we don't know how to act, and it's so easy to do. that.
Facts.
But
Yeah.
so
Facts.
it's like
That's a
you're
fact.
not gonna. And I'll tell them we'll go 0-10 before y'all embarrass me.
How you
Right.
look, how you present
Correct.
yourself, how you walk into the stadium,
Right.
Correct.
how you warm up.
Right.
All that stuff
Like-
means something when you're coming
Mhm.
from the South Side. You want to present a different product than what people think they're gonna
We
see.
we want all of us want that structure,
Right.
Right.
and the kids won't admit that they want to be disciplined,
Right.
but they thrive when they're disciplined.
Right.
Just like adults as well.
So is it the coach? Because
I was going to
because-
ask a question about the coaches.
yeah, because we're the ADs and you're the football coach, so your team is gonna take on that mentality. You're the basketball boys basketball coach. Your team gonna take on. My girls are gonna take on that mentality. Your track team is gonna
That
take
walk.
on that mentality. For sure. But
We are pressure.
what about all the other coaches that don't walk into the gym, don't walk onto the soccer field looking a certain way, having that same mentality that you have? We gotta represent in a certain way.
I do
A lot of it could be
So I actually
Right.
do it in my coaches meetings. Like understand, dress, dress like the job you're working.
right.
Don't. And I'm not saying when you're at practice you can't have on, shorts and a t-shirt. But when you're going to a game, when the game starts, you shouldn't be dirty, dingy, looking like you just rolled out of bed. Like
Right.
be presentable. Like you never know who's gonna be there to see you, and you don't want to be on the news or be anywhere somebody's talking to you and you look, less than presentable.
Yeah.
It's a brand. We're all trying to build our brand, the school. I tell my coaches in coaches meetings, your job is for my phone not to ring. Because if my phone rings, I gotta let the big guy know.
Right.
And my job is not to get him involved.
Right.
Right.
So we're all working for someone else.
Correct. Remember
But what do
the
you
chain.
do?
That's right.
What
That's
do you
right.
do with the coach who you can see that they don't really have control over their program? Like they don't consistently discipline, or there's a toxic kind of environment there. So how do you handle that?
That's the unfortunate part. We don't get personal development days for coaches.
Right. I mean, you gotta.
We-
you can tell them like, hey, these are things I've noticed. This is what I've done in my situation. And when they get upset, like, hey, I'm just trying to keep you out of that fire
Right.
because
Right.
it's coming.
Right.
You kept me out some fire.
That's a whole nother show.
And I don't know if it's just that some younger coaches are not ready for it. We don't have a lot of coaches.
I think a lot of young coaches take things personally. So when I was a first year coach, I was kind of Dale's, like I was kind of, I don't want to say do boy, but like, hey, do this. Do
But that's
that.
what it was, though.
Correct.
You worked your way up the
Exactly,
ranks.
exactly.
Nobody
But you would
wants
show
to
up
do
and
that
you wanna
They want to be the
anymore.
head coach right off the rip.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to
Not
do
gonna be
that
like,
anymore.
oh, I wouldn't let him say that to me, or I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Right.
do that.
It's crazy.
How long were you an assistant?
Years.
How long were you an assistant?
Years.
How long were you an assistant before you
8
were the head
years.
coach?
Years.
You see what I'm saying?
It wasn't 8 years, but I was with Hicks for 3.
Yeah.
Then I went on to Jordan and was a assistant coach before
Yeah.
I became head coach.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
that I was an assistant.
Track,
And
I've been
and,
this
and
the
you
whole
do
time.
you do the crap.
That's right.
and nobody wants to do
You all
it.
sweeping the floor. You
Like
all
they
gonna wash the
feel
laundry.
You wanna do the
they are
laundry. You gotta set
they
the
feel
gym up.
obligated. Like,
They just
why
want to
am
show
I
up and
doing
coach.
this?
Right.
Let me tell you how old I
Why
am.
am I
See,
doing this?
They just want to show up and coach. It's like, hey,
And
man.
then you really
The
don't
fun
even know
part.
the
They
extra
like they
hours.
think that's the
It's a
fun
lot- it's a lot
part.
more
And
to
then
it.
But the
they
work-
call me about
the
stuff.
work
I'm
is the
like,
work.
yeah, that ain't got
Right.
nothing to
The
do with
work
it.
is the work.
I'm gonna tell you how.
And you shouldn't do the work. You know, you earned
Right.
the right not to do the work.
But whoever you hire,
Should
are they
do the
ready to do the
work.
work?
No.
And
And
then
they
you
don't
got-
want
And
to.
they don't
You
want
end up doing it yourself,
You
so
do
I'm
it.
like, man, so I ain't got to do it again. Let me just go ahead and do it.
Just
myself.
do it.
Because you
My-
don't get mad.
My first year at Hardaway, I was the film exchange guy on Sundays. So, what that means, everybody, we had VHS tapes.
It was no huddle.
Right, right. One no
There
huddle.
was no huddle.
You go
So,
meet.
That game was
Halfway.
I've done it.
that game
I've
was
done it.
played on Friday. The tapes were burned on Saturday morning. We
But
needed
Sunday,
4
Sunday
copies.
you go.
Sunday,
take-
instead of watching film, me and Coach Wilson were driving to whatever location to exchange film.
Right.
To get it, hopefully Saturday night, so that the coaches could watch it before they had their meetings.
So Dale doesn't sleep.
Doesn't sleep.
No, but he also doesn't drive. So my job was most
Drive
times
him.
to drive him to get the tape, and he always wanted it back at the school by 10 o'clock Saturday morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can remember we were playing Pepper in the playoffs, and we went to the game because we played on Thursday, and we left Rome, Georgia. It had to be 1:30 in the morning.
To get there.
And no, coming back because we had went up there waiting for them to make
Finish
the
that
tape.
game. Get the tape.
Because we leave, and I was like I said, I was always a driver. So he drove up. So when we rolled back, I knew I was gonna have to drive.
Yeah.
And he jumps in the back seat, and this Joe says, "Hey man, you all right?" I'm like, "Damn, we at exit 14 now. Like we home. Like if I wasn't all right, like we had problems a whole
Right.
a long time
Yep,
ago."
yep.
And he got home. We had to get him back. We got back at maybe 3:15.
In the morning.
Oh yeah. Probably about 7:30. He calls me. Hey man, did you? No, I ain't see nothing.
You're asleep.
Yeah, like, and that's how he was. Like he'll call you at 5:30, 6 in the morning. Like, hey, if you look at so and so on play 46, like, damn.
But think about having that conversation with a young coach now.
So when do we hold them accountable?
How
Like when do we like you?
Well, you wanna coach all
you
the
say
sports?
all the time.
Look.
you say all the time. You go to the gym
What you just said.
and clean it up. You
Right.
do this, you do that, but you got other coaches. Like when do we say, you know what? If you can't do this, you can't coach.
Now, how do you balance
Do
that?
you want to coach everything
you-
by yourself?
But you don't. But you don't want to coach everything by yourself.
When
But
you
how
don't
many times we
have
had
the
that
coaches
conversation?
to fill in
As an
those
assistant.
roles,
Yeah.
so you're getting lower quality people
But-
because I gotta fill this spot.
So you just got a warm body out there.
And see, so we're getting to what we could talk about in a whole nother show, because as AD, the brand means more to me than it does
Right,
everyone
right.
else.
Which is wild.
Right.
So if I got to
Right.
cover for them, I
You
gotta
gonna cover
protect.
it.
Yeah.
You gonna cover.
You know, like
you
I
gonna
said,
cover.
protect the shield.
You
I
gonna
gotta
cover.
protect
You gonna
the
cover.
brand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Doing that, I used to assist for Coach Hundley, and that was my job. He was like, "Said you watch the uniforms, you do X, Y, and Z, no problem," because that means he can focus on
The coach.
all of the things that a head coach has to do,
Right.
and I just gotta take care of these guards, get these uniforms ready.
Right, right.
Hey, I got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good stopping point. This time we're about an hour and a half. So,
Glad it's night. Gone. You do your thing.
well, y'all, we can keep talking.
I think that's it.
It's a wrap.
This is Office Hours, Real Life Athletic Directors. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks to catch us, and we'll be discussing more football. Of course, week 1 of college football is this weekend.
I think the NFL
Oh,
will be
man.
started by then.
Yeah.
NFL will be started.
Yeah,
How
2
we
weeks.
come
Yep.
back,
Yeah. So we'll have a lot more to talk about then.
Might have Morris Brown first game.
And I
Coach
was-
Selden, thanks for joining
But hold
us.
on, hold
Thank
on.
you.
I was just gonna say something positive about you.
You can't
And
still
you're-
say
I'm
it.
not saying
You should
Protect the
ne-
brand.
I can't say
Protect the brand.
You should never
Look,
let
look,
somebody
it's
dictate
right behind Coach McCoy's head.
How
how
I-
you feel.
how I
You
feel.
should control your emotions.
Hey, we got it. Peace.
It's Coach Mills signing out.
Coach Keg.
Coach Hunley.
Coach McCoy.
Coach Selden.
Peace.
We out.